Should we start?
It's live. Yep.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
But there's a 30-second delay. So you're good.
Excellent. So you'll just put your hand up and I can start?
You can start.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here today. It is my very great pleasure to lead you through a presentation which hopefully allows you to address the central question of why study pharmaceutical science. Before I commence, I wish to acknowledge the people of the Kulin Nations on whose land I stand today. I recognise that this is a virtual presentation, and so you may be joining me from elsewhere in Melbourne, somewhere else in Victoria or interstate, or indeed you may be joining us internationally. And I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land from wherever it is that you're joining us today. If you have any questions, please do add them into the chat and we can have a conversation at the end of the presentation. Monash University researchers, academics and graduates are committed to changing the way we think. We're committed to changing the world in which we live in to create better outcomes for all. So Monash University graduates think and recognise that some of our dogmas and the ways that we approach our thinking limit the possibilities that are available. So for us, or for you, if you believe that no child should die from preventable illness, become a pharmaceutical scientist and help us to change it. I've been to quite a few open days now, and one of the key questions that arises year after year, and it's a very obvious question because you are, we're here at the Faculty of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Science, is what is the difference between the 2-degree programs? Now, for both, medicines are the essence of the disciplines that underpin pharmacy and pharmaceutical science. Pharmacists, though, are medicines experts who work closely with patients and allied healthcare teams to develop better outcomes for people. Pharmaceutical scientists, on the other hand, advance the science of new and existing medicines. They're experts in chemistry, biology. They look at drug design and development. They look at the production of medicines, making sure that whatever we create is able to be taken safely and effectively. They also ensure that when you take it, which could be weeks or months after that drug has been manufactured, it's still going to work really effectively for you. So pharmaceutical scientists advance the science of new and existing medicines with a really strong science focus. So one of the questions that you might have is, why should I choose Monash University? And I think our reputation and ranking speaks for itself. Our worldwide top 10 ranking in pharmacy and pharmacology has been maintained consistently over the last 10 years. We are in fact worldwide number 2 in terms of pharmacology, and we're only second to Harvard University, but I'm fully confident we'll catch them soon. We as a faculty have made a strong and ongoing commitment to innovation in education. We're strongly committed to the scholarship of learning, and we make sure that we've been at the forefront of the amazing curricular revolution that's going on now, that is about active learning and putting students at the centre of their learning and knowledge and skill development. We have a real focus on employability skills, and that starts with looking at authentic workplace-related problems to solve in the undergraduate space, but it also involves early and enhanced opportunities for experiential or work-integrated learning. So you get to go on research and industry placements and really fully investigate what it is that you might be doing after graduation. As I said, skills are really important, and it's important for us that our graduates are able to leave Monash University with a great knowledge and skill set. But it's also important that we recognise that that's an individual journey for students. And it's really important that students are at the centre of that equation. And so we have a skills coaching program where you'll work really closely with some academics who will help you to develop your own understanding of your skills and your ability to articulate and evidence your skills to others, which is particularly important when you are ready to enter the workplace. You might be drawn to our campus here at Parkville. We're in a great spot in Melbourne. It's really beautiful. We're surrounded by parkland. We're a single purpose campus. We're one of the smallest faculties at Monash University. As I said earlier, we only have the 2-degree programs, pharmacy and pharmaceutical science. But that means we have created a really strong and engaged community. We're right at the centre of Melbourne's medical and biotech precinct, which is really important for you to be able to have that exposure to the world's leading experts in the field, and for you to be able to engage in activities that will further your professional development. And of course, we're part of Monash, a global top 100 university. Now, you might be thinking about the pharmaceutical industry in Victoria, and it was already a large and very productive industry. But coronavirus, of course, has been very disruptive and continues to be, but it's shone a light on the biotech industry, and it's shone a light on what pharmaceutical scientists have to offer and contribute in this area. So you are going to be well located to actually ride the next wave of development in pharmaceutical industry. And you're going to do that alongside the Monash Institute of Pharmaceutical Science, the #1 pharmacy and pharmaceutical science institute in Australia. The researchers here are part of the community. They're going to be your lecturers. You're going to know about them and the work they undertake, and you're going to be in the perfect position to parlay that into whatever career you continue onwards. Lastly, you might be thinking about student life at Parkville. We're close to the Melbourne Central Business District and public transport. We're close to parks and Carlton and Brunswick, and a really exciting part of town. We think that our small size has meant that it's very easy for you to find your peer network and to make friends easily. You'll have a mentor from day one. We have dedicated clubs and societies on campus, and it's a really warm and welcoming campus and student body. We have over 30% of our students joining us from international locations, and I feel like it's really part of that strong sense of community that everybody feels that they're well at home here. If you're thinking about your study, we've got 24-hour security and study spaces, but I think I'll leave it there and I'll let you go and visit our booths, our clubs and societies, and our What Our Students Say booths, and there you can talk to some of our current students about how they feel about studying at Parkville here with us. So let's talk a little bit more about pharmaceutical science and what pharmaceutical scientists do. Our mantra here at the Monash Institute of Pharmaceutical Science is better medicines by design, and that design is really important. So basic research here at the front end looks at identifying what is going wrong in disease states, what might be appropriate targets for us to approach in creating better therapeutics that will either decrease your symptoms or reduce the underlying disease state. Our chemists then come on and they start to look at, well, what drug molecule could we design that's going to most effectively address that target? And then we work together, both biologists and chemists, to work out how to actually get that drug to be able to administer it to a human patient, for it to have the right formulation, that it's stable, safe and effective, and that you're not going to get any off-target or unwanted outcomes. The next stage in the drug development pipeline is that clinical evaluation in humans, and that's essential so that once you've got that regulatory approval and you've confirmed your safety and efficacy profile, you can actually start to manufacture en masse that product and make sure that it's able to be transported and be available wherever it's required all over the world, and it's still going to fulfill the functions that you want it to do as an active drug molecule. So you might be wondering about career opportunities as a pharmaceutical scientist, and hopefully I've just shown you that there are a lot of different places along that drug discovery pipeline that you might find yourself engaging with. But our careers are myriad. It all depends on your own interest areas and your own, what wakes you up in the morning and gets you going. So pharmaceutical scientists graduate and they might enter medical research, or they might become part of clinical trials. They might go and work as a product developer or formulator, or they may go and work with pharma. So there's lots of different opportunities. And again, I really encourage you to visit our graduate outcomes booth so you can start to talk to people about, what it is that you have in mind and how we can help you to get there. So pharmaceutical scientists, it's a really interesting thing. If you're around maybe 100, 150 years ago, the main causes of death in Australia were infectious or communicable diseases. And they were really quite damaging in the sense that a lot of younger people were dying from these diseases and disorders. Now, through the inspiring work of pharmaceutical scientists around the world, and also in Australia, we've managed to eradicate a lot of those disorders of childhood and early adulthood. And so it's very unlikely that they're going to cause the same degree of mortality here in Australia. But that leads us to the next set of challenges for our pharmaceutical scientists. Currently, the top causes of death are considered more diseases of middle or older age. A lot of them are associated with lifestyle or are considered diseases of aging or have degenerative profiles. They're very, very complex disorders and very, very hard to treat. But again, I'd like to really invite you to think about what it is that you want to change and how you want to create better health and well-being outcomes for people. So if you think about stroke and you don't like the fact that people have to live with ongoing physical or cognitive impairments after a stroke, we'll become a pharmaceutical scientist and change it for the better. Back to our drug discovery pipeline, our journey of the medicine and a product. Here I've sort of highlighted some of the different points at which you might intersect with that pipeline. And again, really sort of emphasizing the core enabling sciences here of your physiology and biology. We train you you'll do units in physiology, you'll do units in pharmacology and biochemistry, you'll do units in toxicology. On the chemistry side of things, in first and second year, we have a really strong emphasis on physical and medicinal chemistry that can really help you to understand those drug molecules and how they might interact with human patients. And then something that you might not be so aware of is formulation science. And it's not something that you think of often, but again, if you go to a pharmacy anywhere in the world and you pick a product up off the stand, you get it from the pharmacist, that product has an active ingredient, but it also has a lot of other things in it that can help to make it stable and confirm that it's going to be safe and effective no matter where it is that you're accessing it and how long after it's been manufactured. So it's really important to think about how we actually deliver our drugs so that they work and how we can actually ramp up our manufacturing and make sure that we've got the right sort of quality in place for the end user. Lastly, we also have the role in the marketplace to make sure that our drug is doing what it needs to do and it is causing the maximum beneficial outcomes and we're minimising any adverse outcomes. So there's from go to woe, there's plenty of places in that pathway where you might feel yourself drawn to now, or during your undergraduate time, you'll actually get exposure and be able to work on problems that are appropriate to those different areas. And that will really help you to develop your sense of what it is that you want to achieve when you graduate. A little bit about the course structure. We have a common first and second year, really about building your language and your ability to engage anywhere along that drug discovery pathway. You might specialise in a different area once you graduate and enter the workforce, but you're able to work with teams of pharmaceutical scientists to create better outcomes. In third year, we actually bring in electives. These are your more advanced units, and there are some capstone interdisciplinary project units that allow you to work together in teams where you solve problems relevant to that drug discovery pipeline that I talked about. And we also have the professional experience unit where you get to go out into research or industry and really see what it is that people are doing in the workplace and how your knowledge and skills will be able to contribute to that once you graduate. So students can exit after 3 years and enter the workforce, but we also have an honours year that may lead into a postgraduate research space or may enable you to get a better sense of what it is you want to do once you enter that workplace. The 3 degrees that we offer are Bachelor of Pharmaceutical Science 3-year degree option. We have a Bachelor of Pharmaceutical Science with advanced honours, and you can see that that honours, that extended research opportunity is built into the degree program. And we have a 5-year combined Bachelor of Chemical Engineering and Bachelor of Pharmaceutical Science. Now, it's not as complicated as having to go across to Clayton and Parkville within the same year. What we've actually got is this really nice arrangement of years where you'll spend the first and the third year here at Parkville, really sort of getting that expertise in pharmaceutical science, and you'll be developing your skills and knowledge in chemical engineering in years 2, 4 and 5 out at Clayton. I've mentioned this a couple of times, but it is really important for us and it's really important for our students, and that's that focus on skills. We really want to make sure that our students have really strong cognitive, communication, teamwork and inquiry skills, that they have exposure to authentic laboratory experiences. That means that they have good practical, technical skills, but they can also operate instruments that are relevant to their workplace safely and effectively. And so we have a lot of really advanced tech at our fingertips. As I said before, we are working side by side with the Monash Institute of Pharmaceutical Science. And so you will have that opportunity to actually engage and use these instruments and techniques that are directly applicable to your future career pathway. And lastly, one extra opportunity that is available is our Bachelor of Pharmaceutical Science Advanced Honours Scholars Program. You will, if you apply for the Bachelor of Pharm Sci Advanced Honours and your ATAR allows you, you will be invited into the Scholars Program, which has a $6,000 year scholarship, but it also has the opportunity to have even closer networking with academics and researchers and scholars that can help you to further develop your own skill set. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining me today. Please do send your questions through the chat or go and have a chat with some of our really excited, passionate and engaged academics and students who are available in the chat. And they can give you any further details that you might need. Excellent. All right. So I believe that there are some questions here in the chat. Just give me a second to pull them up. Okay. How do we gain employability skills? What kind of opportunities do we get to become career ready? Okay. So we have a very integrated employability skill focus. And it's about giving you the training and allowing you to practice the skills required to differentiate yourself from the pack when it comes time to actually enter the workforce. So there's lots of opportunities to network with industry and research alumni and contacts that we have. I've mentioned a couple of times that we've really embedded authentic workplace problems into our curriculum. And a lot of the times it's a researcher or an industry representative who is coming in and actually presenting you with that problem and allowing you to demonstrate your skills and in the, alongside that, allowing you to build up your network of the people that you know. So we do a lot of things around how you actually present yourself and engage as a professional. What's the workload like? It is a science discipline degree program. We do have quite an intensive lab program, so that you do develop those technical and laboratory skills and that knowledge that you need. Yeah, what is the workload? I would consider that you're going to be having classes most days of the week. When you're not in classes, you're doing a lot of team-based activities or project work. So, yeah, I would say it's at the sort of more intense end, but it's certainly a manageable workload, and it's something that our students really sort of engage well with. We don't have too many complaints that the workload is excessive. Do we need a lot of science knowledge before we enrol? So a lot of our students actually come in without having done biology, and so we offer opportunities for you to develop your vocabulary and terminology in biology, particularly for those physiology and pharmacology units where you are talking a lot about the body and how it works. So saying, physiology is different to biology. We don't repeat biology. We really have that focus on the human body. So by the time a few weeks have rolled around in your first semester of physiology, I think students are reporting that they don't feel like there's much of a difference between those who have done biology in their VCE and those who haven't. Chemistry is a prerequisite, and it is really important that you've got those prerequisites in place before you apply. Is there a lot of lab work in pharmaceutical science careers? Oh, it's varied. That's a really good point. So in the pharmaceutical science undergraduate space, you'll spend a fair bit of time in the lab. We have a strong lab focus. And when I say lab, that can be everything from what you're thinking about in the traditional sort of laboratory with, things, a chemistry lab, and you've got a whole lot of glassware, and you're designing or synthesizing or analyzing samples. But it could also be that you're actually working on computers to do the modeling and really important computer work that underpins a lot of our work. So when we say lab, it's really a catch-all for those practical skills that pharmaceutical scientists undertake. Now, there's a lot of that in the undergraduate space because we want you to be exposed to it and have that under your belt, and that will help you to help you with your decision-making when you're ready to graduate. However, once you graduate, plenty of career options are available where you never have to go into a traditional laboratory space, or you might not have really liked that data analytics or the modelling side of things. So you can choose a career that actually works for you. Question here about, do we get to study current health issues? Oh, that is a fantastic question. Now, coronavirus is, of course, on everybody's minds at the moment, but it has been a perfect opportunity for us to embed something that is really relevant for pharmaceutical scientists into our degree. So we've been doing lots of work in different subjects around immunology, but also in around pharmacology, how it is that coronavirus causes an impact on the body, and why it is that some people are more susceptible to very significant and severe effects, and looking at how it is that pharmaceutical scientists can actually tackle it from target identification and validation all the way along to scaling up manufacture of vaccines and alternative vaccination approaches. Hopefully you've all seen on the media Professor Colin Poughton and his team, or you might have gone to the panel yesterday, looking at different approaches to vaccine development that are happening here. The research is happening right here on campus. So questions about, after doing a Bachelor of Pharmaceutical Science, can you do a Master's, or is it just honours? This is a really fantastic question, and we're looking very closely in that postgraduate space. And what we're creating is a suite of options. So it may be that you do undergraduate Bachelor of Pharmaceutical Science, you do honours, and then you move into a PhD, because you've got, your mind is focused on a research career pathway. Alternatively, you might graduate and enter the workforce for a while and then come back and join us for Masters. Or you might do honours and then join us for Masters. And what we'd actually do is give you credit because you have undertaken a pharmaceutical science degree with us previously. So it depends on what particular career outcomes you're looking for, but we have options that are going to suit everybody. Question here about the lab work and reports again. Do you do a lot of lab work and reports in the degree? We do. And I think it's very important. I showed you the 5 key skills that we focus on, and one of those was communication. So the best scientists in the world could be sitting in their lab creating solutions for all of our unmet clinical needs, but if they can't collect the data effectively, and if they can't communicate their findings to the relevant granting bodies or governments or regulatory bodies or even the community at large, then that effort is wasted. So it is really important to us that you're able to think about your experimental design, that you have skills in critical thinking, and you're able to problem solve effectively, but that you're also able to communicate what it is, how you're doing it, and what your outcomes are. So for us, lab work, the natural sort of tie in there is your ability to report that out, maybe as a report, maybe as a conference poster or presentation. But yes, communication is key. Question here about what is the difference between advanced honours and an honours degree? Our advanced honours is a 4-year degree program. You do have to maintain a weighted average mean mark of over 70% in all of your 3 years of undergraduate, but then you have a guaranteed honours place where you do that extended research project. That's what we offer. I know that there are other types of honours degrees where you might be awarded an honours at the end if you do get high marks, but that's not the model that we're using. We're talking about actually being able to undertake that honours year. Now, I should say that those who do the 3-year degree program, if they've got a WAM that's over 70, they're going to be eligible for honours as well. It's just a slightly different application process. For those looking for a year off before starting university, is deferring an option? Yes, it is. You can defer, we'll hold your space, and we'll see you in 2022 rather than 2021. Can this degree be done as a double degree with anything other than engineering? No. At this point, our double degree offering is with chemical engineering, and it's a really nice marriage. Engineers are really, really great at tackling those big questions about large-scale production, efficiencies, how to do it effectively, how to maintain quality. And what we're doing there is combining the two and thinking about it in terms of pharmaceuticals or other products that are relevant. And I think this could be me reaching the end of my time. Thank you so much. Great questions. If you still have some unanswered questions, please do take them to our different booths and chat to our academics and our students. Thank you. Thank you very much.